Hi, guys. I wanted to jump in and quickly say some brief thoughts about the tragic death of one Kobe Bean Bryant. Um, I have been a lifelong Laker fan, and when I was younger, it was the Magic Johnson era. But the Laker is Kobe Bryant. His entire career with the team and five championships. Uh, God, this is this is a really tragic day for sports in general, for basketball fans in general, for Lakers fans. Uh, Kobe's one of the best basketball players I've ever had the privilege to watch, and he was a complicated man. Um, his parents raised him in Europe. He's multilingual. He's raised four beautiful daughters and is survived by them, thankfully. God, if his wife or daughters were on that helicopter with him, that would have been far worse. But, at least now his legacy is safe. His children are still with us. But, oh, God, you don't expect someone to go at 41. The day after LeBron passes him in the all time scoring list, the world loses Kobe Bryant. That's This is going to stick with me for a while. Um, I'll never forget his runs at the Olympics. I'll never forget his championship runs, both with Shaq and with Gasol. Um, he was something special in the league. During his era, the only person that could really match his intensity to the game was Garnett. Him and Kevin Garnett were the last two players drafted directly from high school. Um, and those guys were phenoms, but it allowed Kobe to have an extremely long NBA career and really put his stamp on the league. I don't care what people say about Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Kobe's 81 points, in my view, is the most profound scoring achievement in the NBA. Will Chamberlain was doing up against bums that were nowhere near his size and just standing at the bottom of the rim. Kobe's 81-point game had some real skill. This guy's knocking in threes. So, sorry, Wilt. Kobe's was better. But yeah, tragically, um, today, Kobe Bryant goes down in his private helicopter. No survivors. And, but again, thankfully, his wife and daughters were not involved in the crash. So they are still with us. But for me, I was very interested seeing what Kobe was doing after his NBA career, um, how he was dissecting basketball. We got to look through his eyes and how he saw the game. And what he was doing for ESPN with his breakdowns of NBA games was special to watch. Looking through the eyes of a great. It's of course very similar to what Peyton Manning's doing for them um, on the NFL level, but I've always viewed Kobe Bryant's level of intensity unmatched in sport. Just Jordan, sure, but after Jordan, Kobe Bryant is the only reference point I have for that level of intensity in all of sports. He held people around him accountable on a level many people could not deal with. Uh, his time with Dwight Howard is probably what ruined Dwight Howard's career. Um, Guy just could not. deal with being in the room with that level of intensity. And again, not many can. That's the reason Phil Jackson was needed as a coach for the Lakers, because Kobe Bryant was an intense individual, and he needed some sort of management to balance that with the rest of the team. Shaq and Kobe do not exist on the same team as long as they did without the presence of Phil Jackson. So he was, again, a complicated man. We can't forget the reason he changed his jersey number so many years ago during the allegations of rape against him, how he dealt with that trial. I mean, it's widely viewed by Lakers fans that, she was probably just going after money, but there was never really a criminal trial. It was always civil action. And I remember the days during the trial, him going to court, sitting all day, listening to people tear him down, and then going back to the basketball court and taking out his aggression on the rest of the league. And they were some of the most dynamic scoring performances I got to watch. It was just, anytime Kobe was taking his frustrations out on another team, it was tragic for that team's fan base because he was decimating them. Players in the league today do not have the level of intensity, the level of professionalism that Kobe Bryant brought to the game. People are looking at LeBron as the old guard now, and he was almost looked down upon in the shadow of Kobe Bryant. The concept of load management and, goofing around with the guys that LeBron brings to things it just would not happen with Kobe. Kobe was full speed, every practice, every game. You practice how you play. And it won him many championships. I mean, he put the Lakers franchise on his back during his career. Nobody wins alone. Nobody wins alone. But those 5 championships were most certainly Kobe's championships. And people would say, oh, he wouldn't have won without Shaq. He wouldn't have won without Pau Gasol. Sure, I get it. It's a team sport. But you can also phrase it, Shaq doesn't win those without Kobe. Pau never sees the damn playoffs without Kobe. So, yeah, his level of intensity created wins where there weren't any. And this is so damn unexpected. You don't expect somebody to go at 41. You don't expect somebody to go right when they're finally taking a break and enjoying their family life. The NBA season is a grind. 82 games. And throughout Kobe's career, deep in the playoffs all the damn time. So a few months of play after other guys are already on vacation. So yeah, you combine that with the off-season program needed to prepare for the season. There's really no off time as a professional basketball player. How are you going to enjoy your kids coming up in life? How are you going to enjoy your time with your wife when you're dedicating 90% of all time you have to the game? Now he's retired and he finally has time to enjoy the things that the rest of us take for granted and taken away from us all. Most tragically, his young family. Far too young. Watching that man's entire career is one of the true joys of my life. And To have him taken away from us so young is tragic. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the man like I knew him. I didn't. But, the greats in sport, much like the greats in music, when they pass and there is somebody who truly meant something to us, it's heartbreaking. We identify ourselves with who we choose to devote a lot of time to. And if you listen to a lot of a particular band, you watch a lot of a particular team, the people involved in that become a part of your life. And all of us have had a beautiful chapter of our lives as fans of the sport ended far too early. I find it poetic that it happens the day after LeBron passes him on the all-time scoring list. Tragic, but poetic. I don't want to stay on here all day. Probably going to make myself cry at least a few times thinking about this dude. But yeah, I wanted to say my piece, pay my respects to the man, his career that I gained so much joy from, and just take a moment to say goodbye. Thanks for watching, guys. Most of the time I post about football, but as a lifelong Laker fan, this today hits home, and it puts into perspective that we all get taken earlier than we want. So you better make sure you're doing something with the time you have. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again very soon.